Okay, let's walk through these three different revision strategies that you could use today in your own poetry that you picked for your book. So the first one, change your line breaks, is something that I talked to most of you guys about already. Reminder, line breaks are just where you break the line. So if you notice, I didn't write all the way to the end of this line. I broke the line, broke as in just went to the next one, right here where I said, "Oh, Swiss chard," and then I broke it, and then I went to "Your brilliant colors." The tip is that the first word and the last word of every line stands out the most. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what's the most important thing that I want to stand out in my poem? What are the words that I want to stand out? And those are the ones I choose to make a line break around. So here I decided that Swiss chard was important, so I went ahead and broke the line. Colors I said was important because it's kind of a vibrant word, so I made it on its own line. I could keep going on to this stanza. It says, "Your taste is like a million stars shooting through the sky, guiding me to heaven." Um, I could break this. Let's see, which words are the most important for me? I would say I like stars because that gives it really good visual, so I want that to stand out. Shooting through the sky. I think I'll break the line right after sky, so that guiding me to heaven is kind of its own little chunk. So if I were to write this out in my actually, I never even wrote this second part of that line. So I'm going to go ahead and write this. So I went to excuses. So I'm going to go ahead and skip a line because I have this line here, and then write that last one. To eat that cheesy pizza. Look, I've got alliteration. Yay! Or not alliteration, I've got near rhymes. Awesome. And then for this one, I broke the line right after million. So I'm just going to say, your taste is like a million. And then here, I put a line here to tell myself to break the line. So I'm going to go to the next line, stars. And then I have another line telling me to go to the next line. So I'm going to say, shooting through the sky. And I could just keep going through this poem, deciding where I want to make the line break. Remember, the first and last word of every line stand out the most. So you want to break lines around those most important words. So that's the first strategy you can do today, is just go ahead and change your line breaks. Second option here for revisions is to replace descriptions with similes or metaphors, or really you could just change this to add similes and metaphors to your poem. So to do this, I'm just going to look for a part that maybe I could emphasize a little bit more, and maybe add a simile. So if I'm reading through this, you give me the world of excuses. That's kind of a metaphor already. To eat that cheesy pizza. Your taste is like a million stars. This is already a simile, so that's awesome because I say it's like a million stars. I love the way I just walk outside and you're standing there waiting for me to pluck you from the ground. Okay, this is like a simile or a metaphor waiting to happen because I'm just saying it's standing there, which is personification. But I don't have a metaphor or any kind of a simile. So if I'm kind of going with this imagery of the Swiss chard standing there, if I'm asking myself how to make a simile, I think I'm going to go along with this personification. So who would just be standing there waiting for me? Maybe a friend. So maybe I could say Swiss chard is like a friend. So let's see where I could put this in. I love the way I just walk outside and you're standing there. I could say, and you're a friend standing there waiting for me, or I could say, you're like a friend standing there waiting for me, or you're standing there waiting for me like a friend. Mm, I think I might, you're standing there waiting for me like a friend. I'm going to put it at the end. Though, if I keep reading this like a friend to pluck you from the ground, this is kind of weird. I wouldn't pluck a friend, so I might have to change this word too. So waiting for me like a friend to, I love the way I just walk outside and you're standing there waiting for me like a friend to take you inside. Maybe welcome you inside. This might be creepy. You inside. I could change it later, but if it's too creepy, but I'm going to keep it for now and see how it feels. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I can find another spot for a simile. So, oh Swiss chard, even though we just met a few years ago, I still love you more than anything. It's kind of an exaggeration. That kind of works. When you sizzle on the skillet, my mouth waters so much. Okay, this part is so cliche. I've heard that a million times. So I'm going to change this into a metaphor, I think. When you sizzle on the skillet, what waters? I could say waterfall. I could compare it to a waterfall. So when you sizzle on the skillet, my mouth doesn't water so much. My mouth turns into a waterfall. And I could keep going with this, but you get the idea. So I've added similes. I've done some line breaks up here. Now there's a third way that I could do revisions, and that third way today is to add sound devices. Now this one is tricky. Some people are really good at this, some people struggle. I struggle a little bit, but I'll walk you through some strategies that I've learned myself. I'm going to start with rhyme. So if you remember sound devices, we got a lot of different kinds. There's rhyme, there's alliteration, there's repetition. I'm going to start with rhyme here. So when I look for rhymes, the first thing I do, first of all, I'm always looking for something that I want to stand out. So a lot of this stuff is like I want it to stand out, but I would say probably the beginning I want to stand out because I want to grab people's attention. If you rhyme right away, people tend to pay a little bit more attention. So I know I want to do that. The second thing I'm going to look for, maybe I can either rhyme the last word of lines because that's easier to rhyme, or I could look for words that are easy to rhyme. So chard might be tough. There might be a couple things. Brilliant might have a couple things to rhyme with. Colors would probably be pretty easy. But I'm going to do the end of the line technique. So I'm going to see if I can rhyme something with chard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the other side in my margin here. I'm going to make a list of all the words that I can think of that rhyme with chard. So hard rhymes with chard. Lard, hard, lark, hard, mard, nard. I could just do the RD, and I could do something like bird is more like a new rhyme. Herd is a near rhyme. So I've got these four options here. Oh, Swiss chard, your brilliant colors. Your brilliant colors, I could compare it to a bird. Astound. More brilliant, I could say something like more brilliant than a bird in the sky. I don't really like that much. But notice how I write it down because it's still an option. I could always use it later. This is just my rough draft. Hard, oh Swiss chard, your brilliant colors, astound. And maybe I could do like another stanza here, and I could say something like, you'll never know how hard it is to resist your taste, I guess. I don't know, but I got hard rhymes with chard, so I could add this, and I'm adding some, and it'll make the Swiss chard part stand out more and maybe make a little bit more rhythm. So if I wanted to keep going, I could just find another part in here that might be easy to rhyme with, or something that I want to stand out. So sizzle, for instance, is a hard word to rhyme with, but skillet with this lit is probably going to be a little bit easier. So I could probably target this word to rhyme with if you're looking for rhymes. Okay, so there's 3 different things that you can do today. I just showed you a little bit of how I might go about revising. You can change your line breaks, replace descriptions with similes or metaphors, or add sound devices. And remember, the whole time you want to be thinking about what do you want to stand out in your poem, because once you add these to those parts, they will definitely stand out. Good luck today!